Oh. Good evening. Welcome to the Monday, May 19th, 2025 public meeting of the Kingston City Land Bank's Board of Directors. My name is Mike. I serve as the meeting's moderator. We do ask that members of the public limit their comments to no more than 2 minutes per speaker. Hi, Barbara. And with that, turn it over to the board chair, Mr. Nate Hennigan.
Hey everybody, let's kick it off with the roll call. Let's start on Zoom tonight with Joanna.
Joanna Dorman, board member.
Paul.
Paul Heinz, board member.
Barbara.
Barbara Ioannidis, board member.
Ethel.
Ethel Knotts, board member.
Sarah DeLorso, board member.
And Nate Hennigan, board member. Great. I'll entertain a motion to accept the prior meeting minutes as uploaded to YouTube and approve the current meeting agenda. You just say so moved.
So moved.
There you go.
Seconded.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Cool. Doing lightning round today.
Totally.
Board chair announcements, I'll keep it brief. This Wednesday, just 2 days, is our ribbon cutting event at Abbey.
Yep.
At Abbey Street. So, what time is it now?
2:30.
2:30. I unfortunately cannot make it. But Ethel is thankfully standing in as our amazing MC of the event. So for those of you who can be there, have fun. It is definitely the best part of this work. So I'm sad that I can't be there, but I'll keep an eye out for the photos afterwards. Yeah, I'll leave it at that. Otherwise, there's no members of the public here today. So we'll go right to the executive director report.
Awesome. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. My name is Mike. So, our pipeline category, no change to the number of units, but there has been some movement. The City of Kingston disposition policy has passed, which is great. We talked about it last month. We were hopeful that it was going to pass. We have these two pathways now that will be hearing referred to. There's 19A, and then there's 11. 11 is how we previously got properties, now super expensive, unlikely that we would do that. But 19A, we're hoping to hear back on a judicial ruling for the first two 19A properties, maybe on the 24th of May. That's the return date to the City of Kingston. We've been told that sometimes it takes a lot longer than that, but every month there will be something going on with 19A and probably not much going on with 11, although under the policy, we do have to reject or accept the property within 90 days. So ADC will probably be making a lot of decisions. We may run those through the board. I don't really know if folks want to do it, but there will be a lot of rejecting, I assume, and then a lot of working with 19A. So my updates on those. No properties through the National Community Stabilization Trust. Don't know why I mentioned it. Pre-development, we have some updates coming at 8 in the ADC portion of this meeting, and are still planning on releasing an architecture and engineering RFP as soon as the site is clean. And we'll get some updates around how that's going at ADC. Third Avenue, no updates on Mid-Hudson Momentum Fund. I just say that in case for some reason I forget. That's probably what I'll say for a while. The new home program, there are updates at ADC, and they're good updates. So we have applied some potential new funding opportunities for the congressionally directed spending. Kyle has applied for $3 million for Senator Schumer and Gillibrand, so we remain hopeful that could be used for some of our projects. Kyle has also, thank you Kyle, applied for the Ulster County Housing Action Fund Round 2 maximum amount for an affordable homeownership project of $700,000. So that's a great application. That's in. I think we immediately received a response like, thanks, we got it from the county. So it's good. They see it. It's on their radar. It's exactly the type of thing that they want to fund this money. I was going to have a brief update to say that I think the budget is passing or has passed, but the budget's passed. And so we just had a good call today with the state of New York's housing arm. And so some updates in real time. There's a new $50 million allocation for what's called the Starter Home Innovation Funding. This is an updated version of what had been the Crossmod program. It was a pilot that we tried and we couldn't really figure it out in the city. So now it can include probably, they're all formulating all these programs. Like my sense is the budget passes and then they have money and then they formulate the program. And then so they're actually working with the land banks directly, which is really nice. So new construction modular or cross mod. So we're doing new construction modular. Isn't that great? And so this could be a great program. Trying to figure out what that looks like. HCR will, Housing and Community Renewal will also expand what's called a block by block program, which we really didn't pay attention because it was only for 5 cities, of which Kingston was not one. Now it may be for many more cities. So keep an eye on that. LBI 10, which is what funds our operating expenses, 10 million more for land banks. I believe that we will probably receive the same allocation, which is the maximum amount of 200,000 per year. And then this is where it gets really interesting. LBI 2, $40 million of money. This is the LBI program we've been using. HCR is going to increase the flexibility of these funds for possibly anything that generates almost below 150% of AMO. And anything right now kind of means anything. So we have all sorts of interesting stuff. This is all happening in real time, but it's a really innovative program. So in my other category, I would just say, reiterate what Nate said. Thank you.
I'd love to talk more than, well, we talk more than.
Totally. Thank you for doing it. And that is my report.
Awesome. Thank you, Mike. Moving on to committee reports. Barbara, ADC.
Okay, so I am filling in for Aaron, and I'm gonna send it over to Owen on the Keystone Program construction progress, and then Kyle can touch on, the financing and the dispositions. I know we're all pretty aware of where things stand, given that we are having the ribbon cutting ceremony next week, but we'll let them go through all the work that they've done.
Thanks, Barbara. Yes, it's pretty steady from last month. We've got these 4 houses done, taking care of little projects that have come up either as punch list items or home inspection follow-up stuff on these houses that are being prepared for sale. And then we've got these 2 houses from Keystone that are in the midst of construction and kind of entering their end game of construction. 488 Hasbrook and 52 Grand Street. I'll pull up this tracker thing. Overall takeaways are that we are okay on schedule with Grand Street and Hasbrook. Ada has been very good about rolling with our developments as far as adjusting scope with the lot lines and taking into consideration our new ownership at 46 Grand Street. Grand Street contingency pretty much maxed out, but not a lot expected to deal with there. Hasbrook's doing okay, and I don't think we've reported to the board that we have the permits to demolish the garage at Hasbrook, which the city asked us to get for that project. So yeah, on schedule and overall project wise, definitely landing within the budget. Barbara, do you want me to update on 46 Grand Street?
Yeah, go ahead.
So we have something that's happened in the past month is that we did get permits from the city for asbestos abatement and demolition for 46 Grand Street. And that basically just started on Friday. So we're in the middle of a asbestos abatement at that property now, and then we'll follow up with demolition, and then we'll have created quite a difference for that corner of the city, which we have the 3 properties right next to each other.
Great. Thank you, Owen.
Yeah.
Kyle, do you want to go into the financing update?
Sure. Um, I sent around an update of the financing summary this afternoon. Sorry for the late notice, but I wanted to get the latest numbers in there. A couple things to point out. We are basically entirely drawn down on ARPA funds on this project. Slight balance there that we're actually going to be transferring to another project. So we are basically 100% complete with ARPA as it relates to this project, and nearly drawn down on LBI funds for the project as well. So exciting to be approaching the end of that. So Owen mentioned we're done with construction on Chapel, Abbey, Stefan, and Gill. We just have some remaining costs associated with the closings of these homes and marketing and the ribbon cutting and things like that. So some funds remaining there, but the majority of this balance we see is project savings at this point, primarily from contingency. And yeah, here's where we stand on the two remaining houses, Hasbrook and Grand. Making progress, on track with what we expected on both of these homes. I'll point out LBI is we've actually wrecked over the budgeted amount, but that is something we were planning on doing as we wrecked under the budgeted amount for other homes within this portfolio. So overall, we're on budget and trying to spend as much of those funds as possible. So that's it on the financing summary. Happy to answer any questions if people have them. Great.
Okay.
I'll just jump onto dispositions on Keystone. As Barb mentioned, we kind of all know where this stands. With the ribbon cutting coming up on Wednesday, but happy to announce again that we closed on 69 Gill Street last Tuesday. Mike sat through a closing process and saw that one home, or saw that one finish. So congrats on that. And we have our 3 other homes in contract and moving rapidly towards closing there. So we'll have 2 of the families at the ribbon cutting on Wednesday. Looking forward to seeing the rest of y'all there. Any questions on dispositions?
Should we move on to the new home program then?
Sure.
Oh, and did you want to give your update first on the
Sure.
architecture and engineering?
Yeah, I'll just fill in that we've started working with the architects that slash engineering team that we've hired for this project, and we had a kickoff meeting on Thursday. We're still going back and forth with the final contract, but essentially they've kicked off work on it, and so now we're starting on first step is site plans and confirming that the houses that we're interested in building on these sites are going to work out with zoning codes and the sites themselves, and not require us to jump through too many extra hoops to get those properties done. So we're diving into the site plans now. At the same time, we're also kicking off with the modular companies, like one step behind the architects to get initial drawings for the houses initiated.
Great.
Yeah.
And remind me, is there an opportunity for us to like see the modular like models or?
Yeah, we've as it stands now, we've got plans to do more frequent back and forth with the design committee to show, what the latest is, but we can forward on to everybody at some point in the next month.
Okay, great. And Kyle, did you want to touch on the
Acronym soup.
PR?
Yeah, this HCR FUL / NEPA, that's just basically the environmental requirements in order to use these home funds on choice limiting actions, which basically kind of means site work. We are making a lot of progress. The environmental requirements similar to work we've done in the past, but just a more elevated, kind of more intense process, and we're making a lot of progress there. Just delivered a lot of information to HCR today that we're looking for some feedback on. But yeah, full speed ahead on that, trying to yeah, get this approved so we can move on to the more substantial parts of the project.
Great, thank you. That's all on the ADC committee.
Great. Then moving on to finance and audit. Rebecca's not here.
Well,
We'll hand it off to Stacy.
I'm gonna hand it off a napkin for Rebecca. I will hand it off to Stacy. Let me break it.
If that's okay.
We didn't have a lot today. She wrote to you to see. Things about the bus and not sister. That's okay. Okay, so we have some things that might be repetitive because I already spoke to one here. What do we say? So April highlights are 46 Grand Street project. Progress continues. Water and sewer service were disconnected. Initial deposit of asbestos remediation was made and the underground tank was removed. These activities account for $24,000 increase in the basis, 46 grand, as reflected in the statement of financial position. For grant reimbursements, we requisitioned Barbet and LBI2 this month. Accounts payable reflects the amounts that are due to contractors, which is typical at the end of every month. Operating expenses, these remain in line with the budget. There was an increase in property costs. This was primarily due to water and electric costs that we now taken on for the big houses. However, these expenses are being reimbursed for our grants. We received progress billing from our auditors and in the month of April, we'll get the next close that out. And we have our recurring contributions that are holding steady. And that is my report.
Great. I don't think. Good job. I don't think we can vote to accept the treasurer's report because the treasurer didn't give a report. Nor
point in interim.
So,
There was a quorum at the meeting, but not a quorum in the room, so technically someone could say that it was not authorized.
I don't think anybody's gonna challenge our vote on the non-treasurer's report.
That's okay.
So we'll just jump ahead to comms.
Okay, so comms. Yeah, the ribbon cutting event. I think I accidentally said next week. It's this week on Wednesday.
You meant.
Yeah, very exciting. Unfortunately, I can't attend, but I know we've kind of gotten into a good rhythm with these events. We have a stellar list of attendees. I saw the press release is prepared. And there will be final photos. So Mike and team, if Kyle, is there anything you guys need in preparation for the ribbon cutting event?
I don't think so. If it's raining and you go in the house, I'm gonna bring a rubber mat. She's like. That was Kyle's suggestion, by the way. Very good.
Fair. So yeah, keep us posted on how that goes. Send me some of the language and the photos that you'd like me to post on our social media pages when that's available, and I will get that up. And speaking of social media, sorry, my allergies are really bad. I have reached out to our respondent for the proposal, so I've asked him for some times later this week or next week after the holiday to chat with some board members. I think, Nate, we said that you would also, speak with him to discuss like scope and pricing, and I've reached out to, I got a reference for him for a nonprofit client that he had. I've reached out via email and I'm waiting for a response. So figure move on from that, next steps after we hear back from those other parties. And then coming up, we have the farmers market tabling June 14th. If anyone is available to join me, and Nate, I'll be in touch with you sometime in early June to like get the things you have, like the tent and stuff.
Sounds good.
Sarah, I see on the agenda it says new like fundraising opportunities. Is there anything to talk about this?
Yes, we are putting in an application to be listed in, what is it called, the Wish Book? Which is the Community Foundations of the Hudson Valley. They're a donor advised fund, so they will share the Wish Book with their all the different donors of the donor advised fund. So we have to apply for that. We're not necessarily going to be selected, but it would be like a little feature profile of us with, who we are, what we do. So that they can be introduced to us as an organization. It doesn't mean it will necessarily result in any. It's good visibility. Then in June, we'll be applying to the Community Foundations of the Hudson Valley's general operating fund grant program for a grant. Probably a small grant, but still money in the door. Yeah, and then we've been working on cultivating some donors. One who's a lapsed funder who's not given in a few years now or a year and a half now. And then one who recently gave kind of out of the blue a large gift. So trying to get in touch with them and see if they'd be interested in getting more involved.
I'll just say your abilities to find information about donors and people is amazing. It's not a.
It's
This
yeah, it's a skill.
skill.
It's honed over many years. Fundraising. Some call it stock. Donor research. That's it.
That's the update from comms.
Great. Thanks, Barbara. Thanks, Sarah. Moving on to governance.
Okay.
But I'm back. We're still in the process of looking at a potential interviewee and then going through scheduling that, and then after that revisiting the other candidate that we have also interviewed. So that's still in process. And then the other thing is the annual disclosure forms. I have in my records 5. I've received 5. I don't know if you've received the others, Mike.
No, I have not.
Okay, so we're missing 3. So if you could do that tonight, that would be great. So we have them and they need it for they're doing
Would you like me to call a
audit?
person you need to make an appointment with? Would you like me to call the candidate to make an appointment for the meeting? Because it's like there's some reason.
The board interview.
Yeah.
We can discuss that at the next meeting right now, but I'm just right now I think the annual reports are the most pressing thing. And yeah, I don't know if you have any hard copies of them there, but if not, I guess we just have the online forms.
Yes. That'd be great. The online ones would be way easier.
Yeah.
A little hard time.
That's true. That's, you
I'm
know,
not gonna call anyone out, but I will be happy to send an email if Mike says that they haven't come through. So, yeah.
we've been home, right? We'll shut up.
Mhm. That's it.
Yeah. So send in your governance. forms.
Oh,
Otherwise, Tom do not believe it.
That's why I had the comptroller's meeting.
Yeah.
Who's gonna ask about our annual disclosure form?
stop. So
You
that's-
never know.
No, you don't.
Okay.
All right. Anything else from governance? Questions? No. Cool. Design, Paul.
Hey, so Owen has the latest plans, as he mentioned, so he's working with the prefab manufacturer for Teller and Murray. And those should be getting the ball rolling. I'm sure he'll have questions. Joanna and I are meeting later this week to talk about finishes and design pieces for each of those houses. And I think that's it. It was pretty simple this week.
Cool. All right. Then still seeing no members of the public. We'll breeze through public comments again. And, I didn't see this new business.
I didn't know where else to put it. If we can talk about it all after the meeting, I just want to make sure everybody, if I answered any questions with that, but I'll turn off.
Okay, well, then we have to vote to adjourn to executive session. Okay, motion, I'll entertain a motion to go into executive session.
Motion to go into executive session. I said,
All in favor? Right. Okay, coming back from executive session. Unless there's any other new business to discuss, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Or. Yeah, motion to adjourn.
motion to adjourn. I said,
All in favor?
Aye. We're voting now.
Here you go. Objections.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks everybody for quick one.
Thanks, everyone.